He's the chief political editor and writer. He's got a lot of titles. Man of multi-titles for Breitbart News, Matt Boyle. He's right in the thick of everything. Matt, good to have you.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
So I just played this clip here by Nancy Pelosi's basically saying, hey, measuring curtains, it's over, it's done. Stick a fork in the Republicans. We're going to have a big night. We're going to be speaker. I'm getting a gavel. What do you think?
Well, it sounds eerily similar to when Hillary Clinton was acting like she was already going to win, right? Do you remember all the media and her and everybody was saying that she should be 60 points ahead? There was no path to 270 for Donald Trump, and oh gosh, how wrong they were. But here's the deal. I don't know what's going to happen 6 days from now. Maybe Republicans lose the House. Maybe the Democrats take it. Maybe they don't. Maybe Republicans hold the House. But the fact of the matter is this is very, very close. And so where things are out there right now, people need to vote. If they believe in the president's agenda, if they do feel like they are better off than they were 2 years ago, and I think for the answer for the vast majority of Americans is absolutely yes, they are better off than they were 2 years ago. We've hit records in every single economic indicator, every single major measuring stick, whether it be African-American unemployment, Hispanic unemployment, women unemployment, whether it be actual unemployment. I mean, I don't think we've had 3.7%, which is what it was in September. 50 years ago? Was it 48 years ago? I don't know. I lose track of these things because it's so far long ago ever that we've hit any of these numbers. We're over 4% GDP in the last quarter. I mean, the fact of the matter is that what President Trump has been able to do economically, just economically, never mind the other stuff, we can get to that in a minute, is absolutely amazing. But the point is that the Democrats don't need a blue wave. I know that a lot of people out there don't believe that in the hype of a blue wave coming and all that type of thing, and they're right to be skeptical, the media and the left and so on and so forth, because they lie to people all the time. But the fact of the matter is that they don't need a blue wave to take the majority in the House. All they need to do is flip 24 net seats on election night on the Democrat side. And that is very easy for the party that isn't in power historically to do. That being said, Republicans can defy that historical trend if the president's supporters out there across the country, the same people that delivered him that historic win on November the 8th, 2016, show up on November the 6th, 2018, if the same people show up, they can defy that historical trend and do it again. We can repeat the magic of 2016.
Well, look, the Trump base has got to turn out. And a lot of the problem here is, Matt, is nobody even knows who they are because a lot of them were Democrats, a lot of them were independents. Mm-hmm. And so the Democrats could be targeting Trump voters for all they know that turned out. They have actually no idea who these people are.
They are. Democrats, we're seeing Democrats all across the country lie to people and claim to be moderates, say they aren't going to vote for Pelosi, saying things like, oh, I support the president's agenda. We see this from the Senate Democrats. A lot of these candidates, like Joe Donnelly, he won't even tell you what parties he's in when he's back in Indiana. Neither will John Tester when he's back in Montana. These guys, these radical leftist Democrats, all of them, everybody that is a Democrat is a radical leftist at this point. There is no such thing as a moderate Democrat. But they will lie, cheat, steal. They will say or do anything to win an election. These Democrats are crave power. They are addicted to power. They will do anything to get there. And then when they get there, they intend to abuse that power.
All right, look, so I had Steve Bannon on yesterday on my show, and Steve is running around the country doing rallies, just trying to get people fired up. I mean, what is your message right now to the Trump voters who turned out in 2016 to elect him? What is your message to them? Because a lot of the Trump voters, as you know, Matt, go to meetings. They're not part of the Republican machine. They don't go to the committee chair things. They're just trying to make ends meet and get through a week and take care of their family. How do you reach them?
Well, I think you make the case of what the Democrats are going to do if they get into power, and they've been very clear about this. I mean, the Democrats have been open and honest and upfront with us. They've been very, with the exception of a spin it away, But the point is what they say, and this is what Maxine Waters, who would be the chair of financial services, if anybody votes for a Democrat, you're voting for Maxine Waters to have a committee gap. Okay? And so if you vote for any Democrat, that's what you're voting for. What Maxine Waters has said is that she intends to begin impeachment proceedings of President Trump, right? So has all the other Democrats. They're all very, very open about this. What they want to do is they want to get those gavels, and they'll say or do anything to get there. And then once they get that power, they intend to start impeachment of President Trump on day one. That's exactly what they're going to do. But all of this is leading to this big, epic power clash. And the reason being is that the Democrats have never accepted the results of the 2016 election. They've attempted in every single regard, whether it be through the special counsel's office or whether it be through all of these media attacks or whether it be through grinding the president's agenda on health care, on things like spending, on things like funding for the border wall, and so on and so forth. The Democrats have used every tool available to resist and hold up this agenda for this president because they've never accepted him as a legitimate president of the United States. And what they intend to do, if they get there into the power, they're going to use that power to try to take him down. That's exactly what they want to do. They want him gone. They want to take him out, and they will do anything they can to do that. So for the Trump voter out there, this is Trump's first reelection, right? So here's the deal: is if the Democrats take control of the House, look, Trump may well survive an impeachment fight with Nancy Pelosi and win re-election in 2020. I think that he will. But the fact of the matter is that the Republican voters, supporters of President Trump, can stop that fight from happening and continue the progress that we've had over the first year and a half of this administration, the first 2 years of this administration now, by just showing up and voting for Republicans. If Republicans hold the House even by one seat, which is very well within the realm of possibility at this point. Remember, all those people that were saying, there's a 99% chance Hillary's going to win back in 2016, they're all saying now there's 99%. Give or take, 10, 15%, whatever each way. But the point is that there's still a possibility that Republicans can hold the House. There is a pathway forward for the Republicans to do it. I'm not guaranteeing anybody that this is going to happen. But the point is that if people get out there and vote for these candidates and help the people that are tight, we've got all sorts of different details on Breitbart. We put out lists of all sorts of different, so people should go to Breitbart.com and read them. We put out the list of the battleground districts. If you don't live in those districts, then get engaged in them. Make donations, make phone calls, get a volunteer, right? So is the average person out there can make a difference in this election, in this final 6 days. You can stop Nancy Pelosi from getting to power. This is not a done deal. She does not have the power already. She might get it, and if she gets it, we know what she's going to do with it, but we can stop her.
We're with Matt Boyle. He's the political editor of Breitbart News. You want to get that app, go to the App Store, download that to your phone, and go to BreitbartNews.com. Matt, tell our audience again, if they want to get to your analysis of these swing CDs, these swing congressional districts, where exactly, again, do they go?
Just go to our homepage, Breitbart.com. We had a big story up that was our lead story all night last night. We've since replaced it with the Pelosi news this morning from Colbert, which was just absolutely amazing that Pelosi is just being that bold and open about it. Again, it's like even Colbert was shocked that she was saying that, right? Remember, he was saying, you want to say that from Hillary's fireworks barge? Do you remember that, right, when Hillary rented the Javits Center and everything because she thought it was a done deal? But the point is that we got stories up there. We have one story last night that was our lead story, 10 key races that could determine who controls the House after the midterms. These are places where people can get involved out there across the country. If you go and research these candidates, and look, here's the deal. Some of these Republicans, I don't agree with them on everything, right? I understand that, and that is what it is. Right. We can sort those differences out after the election. But here's the deal. The contrast between Republican and Democrat is so great at this point. The divide is so unbelievable that we have to do everything we can to win here. We cannot let the Democrats gain control.
let me take a page out of my wife Ann's book. And as you know, Matt, Ann and I have been married a very long time. I date myself. I don't want to date her. But we've been married a very long time. And she's got this saying that, because she also basically runs our radio stations, our companies and all that. And we'll get into it with something. And there's something really important we have to do. And we'll just get into a dialogue. Let's say that. And her favorite saying is, you know what, John, let's get this done. Let's get it done, and then we can fight later. When it's done, then we'll fight. Right now, let's just get this done, and then we can fight later. It's a great saying, and she says it all the time. Matt, so let me ask you this. So, like, what happens if the Republicans hold on by one seat? Can you imagine? Wow.
I think this is going to come down to like a really slim majority one way or the other. If I had to bet right now, it's going to be 5 seats or less for either party, whichever party wins. This is going to be a very, very close election on November the 6th. It could very well could go to the Democrats. It very well could stay in Republican hands. I don't know yet. I'm not professing to be a prophecy person here, right? Like, I'm not trying to be a prophet like the rest of these pundits and pollsters and whatnot. They're all losers, and none of them know what they're talking about. But the point is that this is very close. If Republicans do hang on, first off, the expectation that's been set by the media, by the political class, by the Democrats, as Nancy Pelosi made very clear on Colbert last night, and as she has done in so many different other interviews over the course of the past several months, the expectation is the Democrats are taking the majority, if even by a seat. So if they fall short of that, that is a massive loss for the Democrat Party, for the resistance to President Trump, and it is a massive win for President Trump. If Republicans hold on, even by 1 seat or even a few more than that, what happens here is that it is a shot in the arm for President Trump going into his reelection. Then we're going to see 20-something Democrats running for president in 2020. They're going to tear each other apart. They're going to rip their party to pieces. And President Trump's going to be able to move forward with, by the way, more Republicans in the Senate. Because on the Senate side of things are looking really good for the GOP right now. So we're seeing Republicans will probably have at least 54, maybe as many as 57 or more seats in the Senate after the midterm elections. So if they get to that place where they've got 55, 56, something like that in the Senate, and they hold their House majority, we're going to be able to see President Trump do things even more bigger than what he's done the first 2 years. Because he's going to have allies in Congress, because not only is he going to have a stronger Republican Congress on both sides of Capitol Hill, what he will have is Republicans who are stronger inside the party. He won't have guys like Paul Ryan and Jeff Flake and Bob Corker. They're leaving. These are the people that have been criticizing President Trump and grinding his agenda to a halt from inside the Republican Party. They're not coming back. Instead, we're getting people like Kevin McCarthy, who's been doing a lot. I'll be honest with you, the majority leader of the House, he's been doing everything he can to help the president get the wall.
Right.
Like, Ryan hasn't been, but Kevin is.
Right.
I'll give him an enormous amount of credit on that front. I can tell you, Kevin's trying to get the wall. So if we're getting him, we're getting Marsha Blackburn instead of Bob Corker. We're going to get Martha McSally instead of Jeff Flake in Arizona. All of these are upgrades inside the Republican Party. So we're seeing the Republican Party move more in the president's direction. But if they're able to hang on in these majorities, hang on in the majority of the House, and get to that place where they got 55 or 56, they're going to be able to roll the Senate Democrats, and because that's been the problem, right? We can't get legislation through the Senate because there's only 51 Republicans in the Senate right now, and there's a handful of those that aren't that solid on the issues, right? So the point is that if we can get to the place where we get 55, 56, it's going to be very easy to roll the Senate Democrats. We're going to be able to jam them with so many major pieces of legislation. I dare Chuck Schumer to try to shut the government down or something on wall funding at that point, right? Like we saw, well, that went for them last year or earlier this year. It's not going to go so well for them now. So, but the point is that the opportunities are endless if Republicans do hold on to the House.
Well, it's going to signal really the total breakdown of the resistance of the Democratic Party. You're right. If the Republicans hold the House by 2 votes, and I think I agree with you, Matt, I've been saying all along, they're going to pick up 5, maybe 6 seats in the U.S. Senate. I'm predicting 5. I don't think they're going to win Manchin seat, so I think they're going to win 5 seats. They're going to pick those up.
May switch parties at that point. I don't know.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know how they take him back after he voted for Brett Kavanaugh.
And that might happen. I mean, that might happen. Just like if the Republicans win by 1, or the Democrats win by one. All you need is one person to be promised, chairman of appropriations or something, and they switch parties. And, we've seen that happen. I mean, it could be a divided house if somebody flips over its tide. So there's all kinds of things that can happen. I don't think that'll be the scenario. But I tell you what, for my legacy media friends, those at CNN, I'm going to have to go to New York that night and lock the windows because people will be jumping out of them. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, what are the legacy media? I've only got a minute. What are they going to do if the Republicans hang on? I mean, what are they going to do?
I don't see a path forward for their continued behavior. They've been awful throughout this entire presidency. They've been awful through the campaign in 2016. There needs to be changes to the way the media operates. They need to stop being fake news, and they're going to have to change if Republicans hold on.
We're out of time. John Fredericks Radio Network. I want to thank Matt Boyle for being with us. Great recap, Matt. Thank you. He's the political editor and writer of Breitbart News. Download their app. Go to Breitbart News at the App Store or read their site every day. That's what I do. BreitbartNews.com. They've also got a great analysis there of the 10 closest, hottest races in the House that are going to decide who's in control. Kevin McCarthy, someone else on the Republican side, or Pelosi waving that gavel.